All right, let's just jump right into it. You've heard the term NFT, right? It's been absolutely everywhere, from talk shows to big budget commercials. And honestly, it's been surrounded by this massive whirlwind of hype, a ton of confusion, and some headlines that just make you scratch your head. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to figure out what NFTs really are, how they actually work, and maybe most importantly, where this whole thing is headed.
And we have to start with the one headline that basically put NFTs on the map for, well, pretty much everyone. Back in 2021, a piece of digital art by an artist named Beeple sold for a price that is just astronomical. It really brings up the one question that everybody was asking. What in the world did the buyer get for all that money, and how is a simple digital file worth that much?
Yeah, $69 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. This wasn't some back alley deal. This sale happened at Christie's, the legendary auction house. But here's the kicker. The buyer didn't get a painting to hang on their wall. They didn't get a sculpture. No. They received a digital token, an NFT, that just proved they owned the original artwork. This one event perfectly captures why this is all so revolutionary, and for a lot of people, so baffling.
So, let's get a really clear definition down. An NFT, which stands for Non-Fungible Token, is basically a digital certificate. It proves authenticity and ownership. It's a completely unique token that gets recorded on a blockchain, which is just a super secure public digital ledger. And it's tied to a specific item, whether that's digital art or music or even, a piece of virtual real estate. Think of it like the official deed for something that exists online.
Now, to really understand NFTs, you have to get this one word, non-fungible. It sounds complicated, but it's not. See, a fungible item, like a dollar bill or a Bitcoin, is interchangeable. My dollar is worth the exact same as your dollar. We can swap them, no problem. But a non-fungible item is one of a kind. Think about a concert ticket for a specific seat on a specific night. It's totally unique. You can't just swap it for any other ticket and have it be the same thing. NFTs are just like that concert ticket. Each one is totally distinct and can't be replaced.
Okay, so let's say you're ready to buy or even create your own NFT. You're going to run into a cost that can be really confusing at first: gas fees. And no, this has nothing to do with fuel for your car, but honestly, that's a surprisingly good way to think about it. It's the price you have to pay to get anything done on the blockchain.
I actually found this fantastic analogy from a user on Reddit that just makes it all click. They said to think of a blockchain transaction like a road trip. A really simple payment? That's a short, easy drive. But creating or minting an NFT, well, that involves a complex process called a smart contract, and that's like a much longer journey that needs a whole lot more fuel.
And that simple analogy perfectly breaks down the two things that decide your final gas fee. First, there's the complexity of your trip. Minting an NFT is a long, complicated journey, so it's going to require more gas. And second, there's the price at the pump, which is all about network traffic. If tons of people are using the network at the same time, it's just like rush hour traffic. The price of gas, which is measured in this tiny unit called gwei, it just goes up for everybody.
But gas fees are just one piece of the puzzle. Beyond what you pay for a transaction, there are other costs, and some pretty serious risks to think about. The world of NFTs has had to face some major criticisms, and we have to start with its impact on the environment. Yeah, one of the biggest controversies right out of the gate was the environmental issue. The tech that powered the first wave of NFTs, known as proof of work, needed a staggering amount of computer power, and all that computing translated into huge energy consumption. This became a really big point of concern for artists, for collectors, for pretty much everyone.
But, and this is a really important but, the industry has been working hard to solve this. In 2022, Ethereum, which is the main blockchain for NFTs, went through this massive upgrade they called the merge. It switched over to a new system called proof of stake, and that one move cut its energy consumption by an estimated 99%. It's a huge deal, and it just shows you how quickly this space is evolving and tackling its biggest problems.
So, with the environmental issue largely being addressed, the focus has really shifted to another huge risk: security. Because these NFTs can be worth thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars, they are absolute prime targets for hackers and scammers who are, believe me, always coming up with new ways to try and steal them.
So how do you protect yourself? Okay, listen up, because this stuff is essential. Number one, never ever share your seed phrase. That's like the master key to your entire crypto wallet. Write it down, store it offline, somewhere super safe. Next, use a hardware wallet. That's a physical device that keeps your assets totally disconnected from the internet. And of course, be super vigilant. Don't click on suspicious links, and do your homework on new projects to avoid scams like rug pulls, where the creators just vanish with everyone's money.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the how, and the risks. But the real evolution here, the thing that's actually exciting, isn't just about collecting digital pictures. It's about what these tokens can do. And this is where we get into something called utility. Utility NFTs are all about real-world value. Owning the token is like having a special key. It can unlock access to exclusive merch. It can be your ticket to an event. It can act as a membership card to a private community, or even give you special powers in a video game. It really shifts the whole idea from just passively owning something to actively participating in something.
And the potential uses here are just incredibly broad. You see it in gaming, where NFTs can be your own piece of virtual land or a one-of-a-kind item. In sports, you've got NBA Top Shot, which lets you own these iconic video highlights. In fashion, brands like RTFK are creating digital sneakers for your avatar in the metaverse. And with projects like Unstoppable Domains, an NFT can even be your unique, universal identity for the next version of the internet.
So we've gone on quite a journey, right? From a $69 million piece of art all the way to digital sneakers and online identities. It's pretty clear that while the initial hype was all about digital collectibles, the technology underneath it all is pointing toward a much, much bigger idea. An idea about what it even means to own something in our digital world.
So let's do a quick recap of the big things we covered. 1. NFTs are basically unique digital deeds. 2. Gas fees are just the necessary cost of doing business on the blockchain. 3. While there are definitely real risks, the community is working hard on solutions. And finally, the most exciting part, the future of this tech is all about utility, what these tokens can unlock for you.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As our lives get more and more digital, our friends, our work, our identities, is this technology just a fad for art collectors? Or are we looking at the actual building blocks for a totally new kind of ownership? The actual deeds to our future digital lives? I think the story is really just beginning.